Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hope you're all doing well. So today we are going to speak and I'm going to show you about tempo. Now, tempo is something that you will see in your workouts and it is understanding the speed of the rep basically. Now I'm going to go through plenty of slides here, going to explain what tempo means, going to give you the different variations of tempo. Quite a lot of numbers, don't let it confuse you too much, but it's just basic and simple as understanding why we do reps in the gym at a certain speed and understanding that if the weights, if it's something you have light dumbbells at home, the slower you do the rep, then the harder it will be on the muscle and the more effective it will be on the muscles. So quite a bit in this, hopefully 10 to 15 minutes if I'm given a wild guess here of how long it'll just take me to get through all these slides. I'll explain tempo, I'll explain everything about it. I'll break it all down nice and simple. Then at the very end, I'm going to go through a range of exercises that explain how tempo is done with each exercise with some graphics, etc. Okay, so first of all, understanding tempo, and this is what it's going to be all about. Again, you will see it in your workouts and you will get to know it pretty soon. So tempo, an example of tempo you might see is 2010, not 2010, it's 2010. It's 4 numbers. And as you can see, 2010. That's how you would see a normal rep explained on your workout sheet. Okay. So what is tempo? Tempo is the speed at which you perform each rep. It can be referred to as time under tension. TUT is another example. This is the time it takes you to perform each rep, or the total amount of time it'll take you to complete. So if you had 10 reps, then at 2010, that's 3 seconds in total. And that would be at 10 reps would give you 30 seconds to complete the set, okay? It's the time your muscles will be working for. So what you might see is people in the gym and they're repping it out 10 reps in 10 seconds. There's probably not too much benefit to it, and there's probably a greater degree of getting injured. So it's all about being nice and controlled and being in control of every rep that you do. So the tempo 2010, we always read tempo from left to right. So 2 is our first number, 0 is our second number, 1 is our third number, and 0 is our fourth number. Okay, we always read from left to right. Okay, so you're always reading from left to right. It does not change, and I'll explain what each number is to you now. So examples of tempo can be written like 2010. This is 3 seconds per rep. So you have 2, 0, plus 1 is 3, and 0 is 3 seconds per rep. Another example can be 4010. So the numbers can change, and we will explain that in just a second. 4010 is 5 seconds per rep. 2210, 5 seconds per rep. 2012, it's 5 seconds per rep. 222 would be 8 seconds per rep. And then an exaggeration here of 3131 is 8 seconds per rep. Some instances you could see tempo written as 2x10. X stands for explode. Okay, so X stands for explode. So these are just examples of how you might see a rep is written. Okay, now there's understanding the tempo and there's just understanding the contractions. I won't get too much into this, but it's just a general idea of what your muscle is doing when you are performing the rep. There's 3 types of muscle contractions. You have isometric, number 1. Isometric is the muscle length, it stays the same, there is no movement. So think if you were to do a plank on the floor, you're holding that position for 1 minute, that's an isometric contraction. Think about when you do a wall sit, you sit against your back against the wall, then that is an isometric. So your muscle isn't lengthening and it's not shortening. Number 2, concentric. Concentric is the muscle length shortened. So think bicep curl. When I do a bicep curl, pick up a dumbbell, I squeeze at the top, that is concentric at the top. I'm squeezing, that is concentric. And then when I lower the dumbbell down, that is eccentric. It's lowering of the dumbbell. Okay, eccentric, coming back up, squeezing at the top, concentric. Okay, and then think about it. Imagine if I was just going to hold the dumbbell here in one position for a minute. for an exaggeration, that would be an isometric contraction. Okay, so lowering down is eccentric, coming up is concentric, and then holding is an isometric contraction. Okay, so they are your 3 muscle contractions. Now, back to our tempo. So each number represents time spent in each area of the movement. Like I said, we always read tempo from left to right, okay? From left to right. So 2010 equals 3 seconds per rep, okay? And then you have your first number over here, okay? We're just going to explain each section of each phase of the tempo, okay? So number 2, which is your first number, is your eccentric. This is your lowering part. So if you think back squat, when you are dropping down in your back squat is eccentric. When you are doing a bench press and you're lowering down, that is eccentric. So your first number is always the eccentric portion of the lift, okay? And like I said, each number will represent how much time you spend in each area of the movement. So number 1 is your eccentric. It will always be your eccentric. That's how it's written. Your first number is your eccentric. Second part of this is it is written as 0 here, but again, it can change. This is the pause at the bottom. So think about when you back squat, you squat down 2 seconds, and then at the bottom you sit there, but we're not sitting there for any time. It's 0 this time, okay? Another time it could be 2, but you'll be sitting in the bottom for 2 seconds. Isometric is time spent at the bottom. That is number 2, okay? Your third number is your concentric. It's the upwards portion. So let's just think back squat again. You're starting 2 seconds down, 0 seconds at the bottom, and then you are shooting up for 1 second. Sometimes that might be 2 seconds. Sometimes it can be 3 seconds, okay? Depending on the number is how much you are developing control of the movement. Some people will be stronger obviously on the way down, but if you are weak in the bottom of your squat, you might spend more time in the isometric, but the concentric is the standing up part, okay? Again, this will be 3 seconds a rep, and the third number is always your concentric phase of the rep, okay? Then your final number is your isometric at the top. So that is how long you're going to basically rest or stand up. This is donated by the number 0, isometric at the top. So again, your first number is eccentric. Your second number is isometric. It's the pause at the bottom. Your third number will be the time it takes you to stand up. And then your fourth number is the time spent at the top before you start your set again. Okay. So like I said, we just spoke about back squat. You will see in your result or in your workouts how you'll have the exercise, you'll have your sets and your reps, and then you'll have a tempo. Usually, yes, the tempo is written as 2010. That is going to take you 3 seconds to perform a rep, and everything is going to be done at nice and controlled. Okay, so if you have a set, you have 10 reps to do of back squat, and the tempo is 2010, which equals 3 seconds. 3 seconds by 10 reps, it should take you 30 seconds or thereabouts to perform 1 set. Okay, and then you have your rest break depending on what the exercise is and depending on the reps. Obviously, that rest break can change, okay? But understanding, if this was 3010, that would be 4 seconds a rep. That would mean that your set took you 40 seconds. Okay, so the tempo is, again, the speed of the rep. And we just use back squat, for instance, okay? So again, I just explained it there. Your tempo is 2010. You have your 10 reps, 3 seconds per rep equals 30 seconds per rep, okay? And again, I'm just reiterating what I do say because it can be very hard to understand what the tempo means and understanding of it. But we'll just take the back squat description again for a second. This time I've changed the number to 3. We are reading from left to right as usual. So left to right. 3 is going to be the eccentric, the lowering portion of the squat down. Okay, so the lowering portion when you squat down, 3 seconds lowering, going to spend 0 seconds at the bottom. So when I squat down, so I'm just going to stop the share for a second and bring you back to the room. So 3 seconds, you're doing your back squat, 3, 2, 1, 0 seconds at the bottom, standing back up for 1 second. 3, 2, 1, 0 seconds bottom, and standing up for 1 second. And then you have your 1 second, or you have your 0 seconds at the top before you restart your rep again. Okay, so that is understanding in the back squat. All right, so just pull this back in again. You have your 0 seconds at the bottom, isometric. You have 1 second to stand back up, and then you'll have your 0 seconds at the top, and then you go back to the start again. Okay, so that will be your back squat description. So different exercises can have very different tempos, and understanding this changes the way you perform any exercise. Okay, obviously I'm not trying to confuse you too much, but there is different exercises that have different tempos, and it's good to understand them so you know how to get the most out of each rep and each exercise to perform it safely at the end of the day with correct technique, correct form, and not get injured. Okay, you understanding this changes the way you perform an exercise. You gain more control over the movement, and you get stronger in different areas of a particular exercise. So there's none of this swinging the weights up and down. You have constant control, because the number one idea is when you go into the gym that you are there to get stronger. Obviously, you are there to get fitter, and you are there not to get injured. Injury prevention, okay? But you can get injured in the gym because people will do things in reckless ways that get them injured, okay? And the more you can control or be in control of a dumbbell or a barbell or a machine, then there is less chance of you getting injured and getting the most out of every exercise that you do. Okay, so then we have our next exercise. Just let me, exercise examples. Sorry, now just let me change this up. I need to bring myself back in here. And let me see where we were. Okay, so again, like I said, understanding that these changes are, each changes with the number will be different in how you will actually do the exercise. So exercise examples. Okay, now we're going to get into a couple of exercise examples here, and I'm going to give you a couple of demonstrations. Okay, so with your back squat, barbell back squat. 2, 0, 1, 0. Okay, that will be 3 seconds per rep. Again, we're going to think, if you look down here at the nose, think barbell back squat. The first motion is you unrack from the rig and you squat down. That is your eccentric. So that will be your lowering. So you're always, or your first number is always your eccentric. You just happen to be at this instance standing up. So the first motion will be the lowering part. So you're going to lower yourself down for 2 seconds, 0 seconds at the bottom. And then the concentric is the upward motion or portion where you stand up, and then 0 seconds at the top. And then we go back to the start again. Second rep, 2, 0, 1, 0, back to the start, 2, 0, 1, 0, third rep, fourth rep, etc. Okay. Now with the barbell back squat, to build explosive power, you might have 2 seconds eccentric. So your first number is donated here in green. You have 0 seconds at the bottom, and then you will explode up. So there is an excessive drive in the explosive portion. That is donated with an X. Again, you mightn't come across it too often, but it's just good to know that that's what X means, is explode up, okay, for power movement. And then you have your 1 second back down where before you reset for the exercise again. Then you have your bench press. Okay, so with your bench press, again, I'm just changing up the numbers here. It very well, most likely is 2, 0, 1, 0, but I just want you to understand the different portions, how to get stronger in each one if you do see the numbers written anyway differently. So let's think, if you just look at the note down here, think barbell bench press. You unrack the bar is the first motion. So you unrack the bar for the bench press, and then you're going to lower yourself down. So the eccentric is 1 second, 1 second down, and you're going to hold here for 3 seconds. You're getting stronger in the bottom position. Concentric is 1 second up, and then you're going to lock out for 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, back to the start again. Lower yourself down, 3 seconds at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, coming back up, concentric for 1, and then lowering, holding it out at the top for 3 seconds before you go back to your eccentric where you lower down for 1. Then you're holding at the bottom for 3 seconds, and then you are coming back up for 1, lock it out for 3 seconds at the top, and so forth. So again, this is just to show you how tempos can be written in different ways. The standard way of each rep is usually 2-0-1-0. Okay, but just to show you that each rep can be manipulated to suit you. Imagine if you had dumbbells at home or a barbell and you didn't have a lot of weight, then you could slow down the tempo or you could speed it up if the weight was a little bit too heavy, but that's where tempo comes into play. So the pull-up. Now, the pull-up's an interesting one because we are not going to, I'll show you now, you do not start in the eccentric phase. So think about the pull-up. You are starting in the hang position, okay? In the pull-up, you're in a hang position. 99% of the time, you're going to be hanging from the bar. So the first portion of the pull-up is the pull. So you're starting, the green here will show you're starting in the concentric phase. So you're hanging and you're going to pull yourself up. 1 second, 0 seconds at the top, lower yourself down, which is the eccentric. 0 seconds at the bottom, pull yourself back up. Okay, 1 second, hold, and then you're lowering yourself back down again. So with the pull-ups, obviously a lot of people pull-ups aren't their strongest part, but when we do tempo and when we want to get people stronger in the pull-ups, we might do a longer eccentric phase, which is the lowering down, building strength eccentrically. So you can build strength in these 4 areas. It's important to understand that with every exercise, you can build strength in different areas of that rep. So like I said at the start, understanding the muscle contraction is the eccentric lowering. You can build strength here by the longer it takes you to lower the weight or lower yourself down in the pull-up. Isometric is holding at the bottom or holding in a certain position. Some people are weaker in different areas of a lift. And if they find that you are weakest at the bottom of a squat, for instance, or let's use the pull-up, you're weakest at the top, then you would try and make this number longer. So you could make it 2 seconds or 3 seconds so that you get stronger in that position up the top. Okay, so the pull-up usually starts at the bottom. Concentric is the pull. Holding here, lower yourself back down for 2 seconds, 0 seconds at the bottom, pull yourself back up again. So again, you can have different variations of the pull-up. You can have a banded pull-up, you can have a banded pull-up, you can have assisted pull-ups, and so forth. So just understanding that, again, different, you can be stronger or weaker in different areas and understanding where you can build strength, okay? So the shoulder press, barbell shoulder press. Now, coming down to the note down the bottom, dumbbells or barbell is positioned in the front rack position. And your first motion is the concentric, okay? Because we're down here is the push. So again, it's here in green. And concentric is the portion, is the push. So every time you unrack a barbell or dumbbells, they usually start here. So your first exercise or your first part of that movement is the push. So again, you come down, 1 second up, push, 0 seconds at the top, eccentric, 3 seconds down, 3, 2, 1, 0 at the bottom, 1 second up is your concentric, 0 seconds at the top, 3, 2, 1. So I'm building more strength eccentrically because it's lowering, coming back up for 1 second, 0 seconds at the top, and then 3, 2, 1. Back down again, eccentrically, lowering the weight, okay? So that's, again, with the barbell or the dumbbell press, because the dumbbells always start here on your shoulders, the first number is going to be the concentric, okay? Like I said, we read from left to right. Concentric is the push, 0 seconds at the top, 3 seconds down, 0 seconds at the bottom, 1 second back up again. And again, like I said, this could be 2-0-1-0. So the 2 seconds would be faster this time, all right? But a 3-0-1-0 is 4 seconds per rep. If you had to do 10 reps, it would take you roughly about 40 seconds. If you were doing them in 10 seconds, then you obviously wouldn't be following the tempo. You would just be doing reps nice and fast, but that's not what we're trying to achieve. What we're always trying to achieve is that we are building strength with correct technique, correct movement, so that you are comfortable, that you know that the movement or direction of the bar or the dumbbells is going in the order that it is, and that your technique isn't sacrificed. Dumbbell lateral raises. This is an interesting one. Again, with the dumbbell lateral raise. And now there'll probably be a number, the variation here of the way it is written is vitally important. Okay, so 2010. Now, the dumbbells start at the bottom position. So if we look at the note at the bottom, dumbbells start by your sides. And the first movement is the eccentric, where you're lifting up. Okay, now we're going to pause for 2 seconds at the top. 1, 2, then lower down, eccentric for 2 seconds. 0 at the bottom because nothing is happening at the bottom. It's easy at the bottom. You come up for 1 second and we're going to hold 2, 1, and then lower back down for 2 seconds. 0 seconds at the bottom. Concentric is coming up. You're going to hold, and then 2 seconds at the top, because again, this is where it's going to be at its hardest. This is why people always, and I will say always, struggle with the lateral raises or the front raises. It's not about the weight that you are lifting. It's about the tempo and the control you have in each area of this. So it is usually with the dumbbell lateral raise or the dumbbell front raise, it is usually written 2010, because people would do reps just up and down, but they're not getting stronger at the top end. So you want to spend a little bit more time here. 2, 1, back down, nice and controlled. 0 seconds at the bottom because not much is happening here at the bottom. And then coming back up, 2 and 1. So the starting position is by your side. The first movement is your concentric. 2 second hold at the top, and then back to the start again. 2 seconds lowering, 0 seconds at the bottom, and so forth. Okay. Bicep curls. So bicep curl is one of the exercises that is nearly always, when we talk about eccentric or concentric, it's nearly always the exercise that is named first or that is demonstrated. So what I want to show you here is the dumbbells will start by your side. Okay, dumbbells will start by your side. They're always hanging down. So the first exercise or the first part of the movement will be the concentric when you bring the dumbbells up. Okay, now I'm exaggerating this part here where I write it 1, 0, 3, 3, but just understanding. So I have 2 dumbbells in my hand. I come down, 3 seconds up, 3, 2, 1. And then the isometric hold at the top is 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. And then eccentric is lowering down nice and fast. 0 seconds at the bottom. 3, 2, 1. Big squeeze at the top. 3, 2, 1. And then we're back to the start. 1 second down. 0 seconds at the bottom. Coming up nice and slow. 3, 2, 1. Holding at the top for 3, 2, 1. So if you had 10 reps to do here and the tempo was 1, 0, 3, 3, 7 seconds, it take you 70 seconds to complete a full set. Again, I'm just exaggerating so you get to see the numbers and understand each area of that tempo. Okay. And again, 3 seconds, nice and slow. So if you have light dumbbells, this is a great way to do it because you're getting loads of time under tension and you're getting loads of activation from the muscle in the correct line of that. There's no swinging of the weight and it's going to be a whole lot harder. Okay, so that is your dumbbell bicep curl. Again, a normal rep would be 2 seconds down eccentrically. So again, thinking dumbbells by my side, the first part of the movement is the concentric. 1 second, back down, 2 seconds lowering, back up, 1 second. There's no hold at the top this time. 2 seconds down, squeeze, 2 seconds down, 1 second up, 2 seconds down, 1 second up. Okay, so that again, how a normal rep would be written. Tricep extensions with a cable or whatever the case may be. So again, just like the lateral raises, this is where you're going to spend more time in the bottom position. So you have the cables up high here. Okay, your first motion will be the concentric because it's your tricep. The pull down is the concentric. Okay, 2 seconds at the bottom where you're locking out so that your tricep is actually locked out at the bottom. 2 seconds, and then eccentric 1 second up, 1 second at the top, concentric down, 2, 1, holding at the bottom for 2 seconds, 2, 1, and then back to the eccentric. So as your arm comes up is the eccentric phase. 1 second at the top, back down, concentric, squeezing, holding for 2 seconds, back down again. So this way, when you do a tricep extension exercise, you understand that, you know, it's at the bottom is where the tricep is doing the most work, where you want to build more strength. So again, we would write maybe a tricep exercise. It could be written 2, 0, 1, 0, but for this way, just for you to understand, I've just written a 1, 1, 2, 1. 2 seconds down, 2 second hold at the bottom, 1 second at the top, and 1 second hold and back down again. But again, this can be written 2, 0, 1, 2, because we do want to spend time in that bottom position. Romanian deadlift, our last exercise. Again, this is a good one for most people. It's a case of your hamstrings are working in the lengthened position. Your butt stays high, like in the photo here. You should probably tuck your chin in a little bit more, but that is fine for the photo. So coming in here, eccentric is 3 seconds lowering, then 3 seconds at the bottom in the stretch position, and 1 second standing back up, and then 0 seconds at the top, because the top is the easiest part. Lengthening, so if you look at the note, lengthening the hamstring and holding at the bottom. So again, I'll just show you here. More often than not, we have our dumbbells. Okay, we stand it up nice and tall. I'm hinging at the hips, 3 seconds down, 3, 2, 1. I hold at the bottom for 3, 2, 1, and I stand back up. It's obviously easy at the top, so I don't have to spend time here. Coming back down, 3, 2, 1. Hold position, because I'm stretching through the hamstring. 3, 2, 1, standing back up. 1 second, and then repeat the process again. So that is understanding that when you're doing Romanian deadlifts, that when you stretch through the hamstring, that is your eccentric is on the way down, pausing at the bottom for 3 seconds, and then repeating the exercise again. So that is your tempo. Now, quite a lot to take in. So if you need to rewatch this again, please do. If you have any questions, please ask me. But the main thing is here, team, is that we understand that tempo has everything to do with how we lift weights, okay? Everything to do, the slower we do it, the better it is for our muscles to contract, and the more we get out of the exercise, less chance of getting injured. And again, it's how we can progress an exercise. If we stall on a certain exercise, like it's my back squat, if you're just doing back squat for like 2, 0, 1, 0, and you're coming down and standing back up, and you're getting to a certain rep, say you're doing 10 reps, and you realize, oh, I can't get past 50 kg. Well, then we would rewrite it in a different tempo to maybe slow you down, to spend more time eccentrically, might spend more time at the bottom to build strength in the bottom position, or we might be building strength on the upward phase, the concentric phase. And that way you can build strength in different areas to progress a certain exercise. Hope that helps. Thank you very much for your time, and I will talk to you all again very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.